All right, Patriots, welcome back. We're going to go ahead and finish up our very last test review of the year. Just like I've been doing lately, I'm going to be recording all these with one video per page. That way you don't have as many to click through. Let's go ahead and get this kicked off with number 1. We want to find the area of the parallelogram, ABCD, and we want to round to the nearest tenth. Now, I know that the area formula for my parallelogram is length of the base times the height. Now remember that the height is always perpendicular to the base. So I can use any of the four sides as the base. BC is congruent to AD, so this one is also 10 meters. That tells me B equals 10. Now I'm going to find this length here for the height, because this has to be perpendicular. Problem here is I'm only given the angle measure, which means I'm going to have to use my trig knowledge in order to come up with it. So from the 60-degree angle, 5 meters is my hypotenuse, and then the side over here is opposite. So I have hypotenuse looking for opposite. I go SOHCAHTOA, and opposite and hypotenuse are both contained in the sine function. So the sine of 60 is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, which is 5. Put that over 1. And actually make that into a cursive O so you can tell it's not a 0. Cross multiply and divide gives me O is equal to 5 sine 60. Now we jump to our calculator. As always, check your mode for degree first. These calculators have most likely been reset since our trig unit, so please check on that. 5 sine 60 is 4.33. So this guy is 4.33. Now that, though, is being used as the height. Please don't get confused by the changing variables. Here it was opposite because it was opposite of the angle, but it's the height of the triangle. Now we're going to plug into our area formula. Length of the base is 10. Length of the height is 4.33. And that's an easy one we can do in our head. Just move the decimal over one time. Gives me 43.3 meters squared. Make sure you're putting them over here. On the actual test itself, you're going to be getting a answer page, and I need everything written on that page, so get used to just putting them in the blanks where I asked for them. Okay, area of the parallelogram DEFG is 117 square units. So 117 units squared. That was my wife. I don't need to talk to her right now. I can call her back later. Okay. Unit squared. I want to find the height. Now, area formula is base times height. Here, my base equals 13. So we're just going to plug in area and base into the formula. So 117 equals 13H. And now we're going to divide by 13. And so we've got 117 divided by 13 gives me 9. So my height is 9. And there's no units on here because it was just using the word units. All right, moving on to, I got to write it in my blank. 9. Number 3. The base of the triangle is 3 times its height. I'm going to go ahead and draw a triangle here. There's my height. So the base is 3 times its height. So everything is based on the height. Here's my x. The base is 3 times that, so it's going to be 3x. The area of the triangle is 81. And that one is square inches. We want to find the height. Well, area formula for a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So let's go ahead and plug in here. 81 equals 1/2 times 3x times x. Now let's go ahead and multiply this through. 81 equals 1.5. X times x is x squared. That means you need to divide both sides by 1.5. Is 54. And we're going to now take the square root of that. It gives me 7.3. So my answer is 7.3, and that is in inches. All right, moving on to number 4. Find the area of the parallelogram round to the nearest tenth. Well, again, area of a parallelogram is base times height. Notice that I'm writing my formula on every single one and then using that to substitute into. So it looks like my base here is going to be 64 feet. My height is going to be 5 feet because that's my perpendicular distance, makes it the height. So I can just plug in area equals 64 times 5, 320. So area equals 320, and then our units are feet squared. Okay. Number 5. A trapezoid has a height of 4 meters. Let's go ahead and draw our trapezoid. Height is 4 meters with a base length of 8 meters and an area of 36 square meters. What is the length of the other base? So I want to know what this base is. Well, let's go ahead and do our formula. Area equals 1/2 times B1 plus B2 times the height of 4. Oh, I'm sorry, doing the formula first. Times H. Now let's go ahead and plug in. Area is 36 equals 1/2 times base 1 is 8 plus base 2 is B times the height is 4. All right, let's go ahead and clean up. I'm going to go ahead and combine these two guys to make that a 2 and then distribute the 2 across. So 36 equals 2 times 8 is 16 plus 2 times B is 2B. Now we're going to subtract 16 on both sides, gives me 20 equals 2B. Dividing by 2 gives me my base is 10, and then I've got meters. And I just realized I forgot to write that in my space. There we go. All right, number 6. Find the area of the trapezoid. Again, area equals 1/2 times base 1 plus base 2, all times height. Well, it looks like my base 1, base 2, and height are already given to me because base 1 will be 30, base 2 is 12.5, and height is 5. I'm just going to plug them in. 1/2 times 30 plus 12.5 times 5. Type it in just like it is. 1/2 times 30 plus 12.5 times 5 gives me 106.25. And then that is feet squared. Okay, moving on to number 7. The area of a circle is 176.63 square feet. What is the length of its radius? Well, we're going to need that area formula. Area formula for a circle is pi r squared. We're going to substitute in, and that gives me 176.63 is equal to pi r squared. Now I'm trying to solve for r, so my first step here is dividing both sides by pi. Those are going to cancel out, and that gives me 176.63 divided by pi is 56.22. 56.22 equals r squared. Now I'm taking my square root to find the radius. Is 7.498, and we're going to call that 7.5. So we got 7.498 5, and that is feet. I also just realized on number 6 I forgot to write my units on that one, feet. Okay, last problem of the page, number 8. The measure of angle ACB is 46, and then we missed the degree sign there. So this is 46 degrees. Find the area of the shaded sector. It's not shaded, but that's the sector we wanted to find. All right, now, area of a sector is theta over 360. And remember, theta is just the measure of the central angle that we're concerned about, times the area, which is pi r squared. Well, here theta is the angle measure, so it's 46 degrees. R is the radius, which is 5 inches. So we're going to plug this in. 46 divided by 360 times pi times 5 squared. And now run to the calculator and type it in. 46 divided by 360 times pi times 5 squared is 10.03. So that's just going to be rounding the nearest tenth. Area equals 10, and then we're dealing with inches, so it's inches squared. All right, we're going to go ahead and cut this. I'll see you guys in the next video in the playlist.